What is up, guys? It is your boy c-niice here, back again with another podcast episode. Today I have a very special friend of mine here, someone who I've gotten much closer with in the past year, maybe past 2 years, someone who I'm now able to call a close friend of mine. I have my boy, Kyle Fallon here.
Yes, hello. Happy to be here.
Yep. And we got a great episode planned. A lot of sport talk. So if you're maybe not leaning toward the sports, then you can power through.
Yeah.
But we talk about a lot of different topics, and I think it's a great episode. I think we get introspective and keep it funny and keep it light.
Just listen anyways.
So to start this off, a way that I thought what made me happy was how you interact, and you were the first person that I think that wasn't like one of my very, very close friends that reached out to me and was like, I would love to be on this. And just you saying that like made me feel happy. I was like, oh my gosh, it's spread out to a point to where it's like not even like people want to come on. People feel like they heard enough or they like me enough to be like they want to be this person on here. So what made you like feel like I want to try to do it? I want to be on the podcast.
Wow, that's right off the rip a good question.
Yeah.
Well, we've been friends for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Not the closest of friends, as you've mentioned, but
it's gotten much closer recently, which I love. I think it's great.
It's something that I've never done before, and
Mm-hmm.
I saw like you had the courage to like start it up, and I said, I think we could talk about a lot of good things.
Yeah.
And I just thought it'd be fun.
We have a lot of similar interests, definitely. It's so funny because I was like, I've always thought about doing a podcast. It's like something that's like, oh, it's something that's not too hard. Obviously, to make it sound good, I'm gonna put my time and effort into it. But there was like mad Uber drivers. Like I probably had like 6 to 8 Uber drivers in my life be like, you should start a podcast. Like just random. Like I'd be in Long
Just
Island,
giving you life advice.
like literally be in Albany. They'd drop it Long Island. Like it didn't matter where I went. One Uber driver would be like, you seem like you could do a podcast. Like you don't even know me. I'm not gonna talk about anything interesting or I mean like what do you know? What do I know? But it was like this almost like it felt like I had to do it.
Yeah.
Whatever happens from it, it felt like the universe just kept like being like, bro, just try it.
And what would you lose? What would you lose?
There's
from doing
nothing
it?
to lose. And no, yeah, I was gonna say I there's not any personal stories, but I do want to ask. I didn't even write it down, but I did want to ask this. So I'm in a league. I'm in a league with Kyle here. I didn't. It's gonna be the intro. You're gonna hear it, but this is Kyle Fallon, and I'm in a fantasy football league with him, which we did an offline draft, which is amazing. I feel like more leagues should do that. I hope we bring it back when we can.
Yeah.
It's so hard when people start moving and getting older.
It's really tough to get 10 people together. And
Yeah.
now we've just expanded to 12,
Mm-hmm.
and people couldn't make it. They're
Yeah.
all starting their lives. We're all getting out of
We're all getting older.
college. Like, we started this when we were in high school, so...
I snuck in during college. I said
Yeah.
that. So I wanted to hear how did I even get in the league? Do you remember whose spot I taken, or
man.
if it's beefy? I don't know how to get into it.
I think it was Nick, my buddy Nick.
Okay.
He had done it from the start. I think we started it in 2013.
Okay, so it's old. Yeah, you've been doing this for years upon years.
And I couldn't even remember when you joined because I felt like you had been there for a while, but
Yeah.
I also feel like everyone's been there a while.
Yeah, and I was quiet my first year or two. I'm a shy person, and
Yeah.
when there's a group of people, I'm just like, I gotta stay to myself.
I
I can't be a
know.
weirdo. But the less you talk, the more you look like a weirdo if you're not saying anything. So then your friend Nick.
Yeah, he dropped out. He moved to Syracuse and to start his career. I think he's doing some IT stuff out there.
That's good.
And so he was like, I don't have the time. I can't make it out for the draft anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the one open spot. And we were trying to figure out who. And then Matt was like, what about c-niice? and I was like, perfect.
You're like, you know what? He's definitely not the worst person I've ever met. He's just a solid person.
Say no more.
Yeah. And because I didn't know a couple of the people in the league. I know Sharito because we bowled with him.
Yep.
I like Christian, and Jesse I knew of, but I wasn't friends with.
Right.
He's one of the people too I've gotten like closer with over these past couple of years, which I'm happy about.
The league now is nice because there's a nice mixture of people. Like it started out with a lot of guys from my grade, which
Yeah.
I graduated a year ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then we gradually just started to like drop an ad.
When you start something like you said 2013, you're almost in the 10-year mark, a couple
Oh, I
years
know.
10-year mark. It's like it's hard to keep the same line of people because it's
It's
just
tough.
life happens. Especially when you do an offline draft. I just burped. I hope the mic didn't hear that. But I especially when you do an offline draft, and I think that's such a good idea. And it's so great because I have a fantasy basketball league. We just made one last year with my friends, and we're doing an offline draft this year.
Oh boy.
Which is like I missed it earlier for this one, so I'm happy I get my offline draft here. I'm like I still get it because I think it's good camaraderie. It's just good hanging out.
Yeah, you get everybody in one place, and you get to see people that you usually don't get to see very often.
Yeah, it's busy.
Like me and you, and offline is easier because
maybe. Yeah, no.
And then you get to you don't have to run into any technological issues.
Very true. Yeah.
I just had another draft, a dynasty one, where the guy, I don't know, the app wouldn't work for him, and it drafted defensive players for him in like the 4th round, and he was like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And then
you just can't do nothing.
He was too busy like raging about the app not working that he didn't talk with us through, and everybody voted to just keep on moving, and he quit mid-draft.
That's insane.
He quit mid-draft.
So are you gonna have anyone save that spot? Do you have any idea?
So it's like I'm not running this league.
Yeah,
I'm just a participant in this one.
You don't.
I'm not the high and mighty commissioner.
Like our league.
But he found somebody pretty fast, so we were thankful that he was willing to take that team because he didn't draft it. So
and this was like you've done this years upon years, right?
So I started my league in 2013.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it since then, and then I think a few years ago I started in my dad's league as well. So now I was in 2 for a couple years, and then this year I got roped into the dynasty.
Oh, so this was your first year in the dynasty,
Yes.
and all this commotion happened,
Yes.
and you're just like, I don't even know.
This was John's league.
Okay.
Big time John.
Yeah, so this is a big time.
Bet on everything.
Yeah, no. Big boy league. And even our league, I feel like a big boy league. Anything above the 20 mark, I feel like that's when you're like, I gotta try.
I gotta put some effort into here.
Yeah, I mean, $50 is $50.
Yeah, that's what it was for this one too. But
I still am like, man, I can't lose. Like even $20, I'm like, I don't care. $50, I'm like, I have to put my heart and soul to make sure I don't lose a $50 bet.
I'm more thankful that we have most of the people because some of them have never made the playoffs since 2013.
Really?
Really?
See, this is my famous fantasy draft. Not my famous draft story, but my fantasy story. First off, I drafted Le'Veon Bell first pick in your league and in my other league because I had double first picks that year that he didn't play. And I only say that because he got signed to the Ravens. So
yeah, he's back.
Hopefully,
maybe.
I heard he was practice squad. But
yeah, you can be moved up at any time though.
It's so weird. I didn't even go on my draft story. I'll go on that later because I have a more important topic I want to talk about, which is the interchangeability of running backs. There have been so many great running backs that just disappear.
Wow, we're deep diving on.
They just disappear, and I think it could start much younger, but Jamal Charles was the first one. Jamal Charles was an amazing running back, and then just one year, he just disappeared. It wasn't even like he had a bad year. They just didn't. I don't know what happened.
That man won me the league.
The
first year.
Yeah.
I was going against Josh, my buddy Josh. He was undefeated. He was like 12-0 that year. Whatever. We're going into the playoffs, and I was heavy underdogs. And that was the one week that Jamal Charles got the 5 touchdown game with Peyton Manning, I think, or against Peyton Manning.
Yeah. It was because it was Denver. It was Denver Payne. Yeah. It was old.
It was like 55 points.
And he had like 40 rushing yards.
Yeah.
It was all catches.
It was all receiving.
And I think I faced Matt in Pot in my other league. And he had Jamal Charles. And I'm just like, bro, like, and it was like only Jamal. It was like happened to be Jamal Charles. That's the reason they won. It was like 12 points, like 11. I'm like, bro, just have a normal week. I do remember that. I was so sad. I was just so sad when it happened. I was like, I can't be mad.
It's like that though. It's great for people who have them, and it's terrible for those who are facing them.
I had Tyreek Hill last year, and he had the huge game. One of my leagues had Tyreek Hill with the huge game. We had 200 receiving yards in the first half.
Yeah, against the Bucs, I think it was.
And I still lost that week.
That sometimes it goes
and
like
sometimes
that.
It goes like that, and it's literally the complete. And it's like, oh man.
I won my dad's league last year, and in the championship round, I had Alvin Kamara, who scored the 6 touchdowns, so that was like 60 points.
That was automatic.
I had David Johnson, who was a bum all year. I got 30 points out of him that week.
I love David Johnson.
And it literally came down to I needed Josh Allen to score 35 points because my dad had Devontae Adams.
You were fighting literally the head.
Who scored almost as much as Alvin Kamara.
and you did it.
I pulled it out. I pulled it out by
Allen
like
played out of his mind.
1.5 points.
Yeah, I remember that you ate last year in fantasy. That was your year.
I titled my team Josh Allen season.
Yeah,
and it really was.
Yeah, that's so funny. You know what? We're gonna stay on the Bills, and who cares about my stupid draft story? That'll be told later.
Okay.
Because we're gonna stay on the Bills. Because there's this topic that I wanted to ask you. This was what I was actually gonna start off with, but I happened to go to fantasy because it came up.
It just happens.
Yeah, and that's just how it goes. But it's what were your expectations of the Bills before if you were right now last season, right? Like a couple days before the season, did you expect them to do as well as they did?
Well, that's a good question because at the beginning of last year, you weren't even sure if they were having a season. And
oh my gosh, that's a very good question.
So it was one of those things like, man, I want to watch them play. So like as many games as I can get to watch before, like if this thing goes like terrible and everything gets shut down.
We were talking about the draft. We were talking about the money.
Yeah.
I remember we were like, should we even I think we ended up. I don't remember what we did. Pay halfway through.
Yeah, we like settled on. Yeah, we were like, let's decide like halfway through if we're gonna pay or not. See how many like people to COVID, and we really only lost like. People were out for like a week or two, like here and there, but barely any.
My team's kind of trash, but I didn't even notice it. You know what I mean? It wasn't because of COVID. It was just because I drafted bad last year.
Yeah. So, but no, you never know. Especially they went to the AFC Championship game. I never expected that level of success. But you'll always hear like Bills fans started out at that draft 2018 when they took Allen. I guarantee you 80-90% of them were like, I would love Josh Rosen.
Yeah. Oh, I was on that boat.
I was also initially on that boat. Yeah. My dad, never. Yeah. Always Allen because he knew the arm strength. And I was like, we had just gotten done with the EJ Manuel arm disaster. And it was like, EJ Manuel was a project, and then they were like, Josh Allen is great, but he'll be a project.
He has no accuracy. Like, the out of college was like, he can't throw the ball to someone.
He'll be a project. And I said to myself, I don't want another project.
How long?
I would like to, like, start winning. I don't want to wait another 3 years dealing with someone developing, but as soon as you saw a couple of his games from rookie year, you were like, man, this guy's got something.
There's talent. I think... he's almost got that Taysom Hill in him where he just kind of can...
reckless abandon.
Well, he can just make plays out of nothing, right? That's what I say, because Taysom Hill should not be playing tight end. I don't know. He's certified Tim Tebow to me.
Yeah.
But I think he's a great tight end for whatever reason. He just knows this position. He just knows how to play football. And I think, this is a little bit off topic, I think the Giants should train Danny Dimes and Taysom Hill and get a new quarterback. But that's just a complete out of the water topic thing I think they should do, because Danny Dimes could be Taysom Hill.
It's true.
But so you weren't sure about the Bills' expectations. You didn't have like a playoffs, or you were just like hoping they. Did you think they were going to take a top of the division ahead of the Patriots? Because it was like.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I was really like, this is the year. Tom Brady's finally gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's the bane of our existence.
The Jets are going to take it. Like, who's going to take the division?
And you're like, well, we went to the playoffs last year, lost in heartbreaking fashion to the Texans.
But I don't mean to cut you off, but I remember when they made it to the playoffs, it felt like something changed. It felt like the Bills' fortunes have changed after so many times. Because this was the one time that the good stuff happened to the Bills. Every year it's always like, oh, the Bills have something bad happen to them. Or, you know what I mean? That's the Bills story. It's like the Falcons. Like any of these franchises that just can't do well. But it was like that Andy Dalton throw... And like it just Bills. I've never seen as many Bills fans, and it wasn't like they were hiding, but this wave of just greatness seemed to come over, and it was like, man, Tyrod Taylor's a great quarterback. I'm like, I love Tyrod Taylor to this day. I'm like, man, he should be starting. I hate how the Chargers punctured his lung to get Herbert starting on purpose, but
I know
it's like
I will always be like a huge fan of Tyrod, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, Tyrod. I think
it's Tyrod, but
I shot him. Sorry, Mr. Taylor.
He, in case you're listening,
in case you ever hear it,
in case you're listening, we love you in Buffalo.
Me too.
And you just get to that point where I actually think that moment where they went into the playoffs and it wasn't even by any of their own doing.
It was just
that was one of the greatest like sports moments I've ever experienced. I'm getting chills right now. I just literally got chills and goosebumps thinking about like the amount of support
because it was like I said, I didn't mean like Bills fans came out. It was just like so many people supported the Bills. So much donations to Andy Dalton's foundation.
Oh, I know.
I remember Steve, another great Bills fan, one of my probably, if not with you, was like near the top of Bills fans around.
I've
this
never
area.
met him, but I'd love to.
Yeah, no, you definitely have the same love for the Bills, but he donated money to Andy Dalton's foundation, and a lot of people did.
Yeah,
Like it was like the $14 for the 14 years or whatever it was.
That's the one thing about Bills Mafia is like you can slander them or for whatever, jumping through tables and doing stupid things, but like whenever there's like a charitable cause or something, they'll donate the hell out of it.
And I'm happy that the stuff came out about the Bills owner looking to make the stadium in Buffalo.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how they even let rumors get out that they were. I don't even know how rumors got out.
I heard you talking about this on an earlier podcast, and I was like listening, and I was like, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, I when I heard it, I'm like, bro, like I don't care if it costs. I don't care how much money it costs to buy the team. What do you mean? The Buffalo people are gonna pay for the stadium. Like Atlanta's new stadium cost billions upon billions, and it took mad time, and people were complaining by the end because I think they had to tax them even more because it took even more money.
Right.
But now it's like this, like you look at like Atlanta Stadium's just one of those stadiums where I'm like, oh, it's so dope. And if they do the same thing in Buffalo, like you're gonna bring so much to Buffalo.
It's just a business tactic. I think all stadiums when they were built went through like a similar process. They were like, listen, we don't want to pay all of it, even though they're billionaires.
No, yeah.
But I mean, half of or all of the like big sports stadiums in New York were all paid happily by New York pay taxers. Like the Yankee Stadium, I think was like 90%.
Yeah, and the worst part is a lot of my friend Steve again says it all the time. The only football team is in New York is Buffalo.
It's true
because the stadium's in New Jersey. Like I took a bus to Long Island the other weekend, like this weekend. And I drove past the stadium on a bus. I was like, I was like, hey, like home with the Jets and the Giants, like
I will agree that it doesn't sound as good. The New Jersey Giants, the New Jersey Jets, but it's true. They don't practice. They don't play in New York at all.
They used to practice. I think the Giants used to practice
in Albany. I think it was.
Yeah, I think the Albany stuff.
Yeah.
My aunt was like kind of close. I think she like met Victor Cruz. Ooh. Like she might have had Victor Cruz's number.
So like she's got a little salsa dance hidden in
like
there?
I don't know. Like I want to ask her this story, and it was late and I just saw it. And I wanted to ask her because I'm like, do you still got Victor Cruz's number? Like, what if I pull Victor Cruz?
Oh my god.
He's probably. I mean, I know he's got work, but like he might be around New York around this time.
Maybe.
Who knows? If I could pull Victor Cruz on here, I'd have to really be a good interviewer. I'd have to really learn how to talk to people I don't know. But
hello, Victor Cruz. Welcome to my bedroom.
Yeah, just stuffed in. He's like, "Do you want to go somewhere else?" I'm like,
"No."
I'm like, this is
the studio.
I think this is the aesthetic that people need because my friend Kyle Thomas.
Yes.
He came. Yeah, he came up. It's so funny. The two people I'm fantasy football leagues with are both Kyles, and they both run it, and their dads are also highly present in it for whatever reason. I think it's great. I don't know why. It's just a weird coincidence.
Yeah, it is a weird coincidence.
but his dad's in it, so it's like he has a little bit more.
I think he's got to beat me.
But we were supposed to do ours. He was supposed to be the second episode. I got lazy. I can't lie. I got lazy. We're gonna do it. I did a beer Olympics with my friends this summer. We were supposed to do it 10 a.m. before beer Olympics. Beer Olympics started at 1.
Oh boy.
I didn't have the heart to wake up at 10 a.m. and do it.
Man.
So he went back to Kentucky. He works in Kentucky.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So he was like, "Oh, let's just do a Zoom one instead." And I'm like, "Kyle, you have to be. You don't understand being stuffed
in front of the microphone.
Stuffed in my room in front of the microphone where it starts to get a little hot, and then you're just like, man, I can't say it's getting hot because I don't want to make fun of c-niice, but it's getting hot in here. And then like you know what I mean, you're just trapped in this room.
You don't get that luxury.
No, you're literally just stuck one on one staring at each other. And I think that just makes the podcast even better.
It's gotta.
You gotta see where I'm at. You gotta see where the aesthetic is, how I live my life. I think you get to learn a little bit about me, I think, as you come here. And he helped me. He gave me this desk, high key, but as you can see,
it's beautiful craftsmanship.
Yeah, it just happens to.
If you're listening, K Squad. Yeah, it's great.
And if you are, I definitely didn't slam my hand right here when I got mad and busted up a tiny bit.
We've all been there.
No, yeah, I'm actually really good with not getting too angry at games every once. I mean, I can't say that. You if you get me mad, you get me mad. I can't do a word.
Yeah.
So jumping off of like I talked about earlier, we were discussing the Bills and the change of them becoming this great team. But as we both know from our franchises, there have been some hardships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have seen some highs and some lows.
I've seen a lot of lows.
You've seen a lot of lows.
Mostly lows. A lot.
But you can't say that because the last 2 years, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like it's only going up now. You hope. And Atlanta was like a flash in the fire. It was like you light a match and it was on for a second and then someone just put it in their mouth or something and just completely went out and they're just back to being trash.
It's so hard to predict like success because and some things are different because like you've had Matt Ryan, who is an MVP winning and MVP caliber quarterback,
Hall of Famer
for however many years.
Hall of Famer. Let me get that out there. No one believes me.
But
he's taking the Phillip Rivers route to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, if you play well enough, like you get that honor. Yeah. And you take one season and you guys made it to the Super Bowl. I was all behind you. I was in school in Rhode Island in the middle of cheater country during that Super Bowl, and you guys got up by big, like so fast. What was it at halftime? Like the freaking Patriot fans made shirts about it because they're just that terrible.
I had a friend. I have a friend. I still have the friend. I don't talk to them nearly as much, but a friend named Molly who I used to talk to every once in a while. Big Patriots fan. She was a big Patriots fan. And she I don't like to be that dude. I don't like to be like told you so whatever. I was all week like they're gonna smoke them, like they can't stop their offense, like it's so good. And I literally halftime I said something. I was like I told you so. Yeah. You know what I mean? I would feel myself because obviously like the amount of sheer, it wasn't even close. Like it was like they were just destroying them.
It was a beatdown.
And then I was like, man, this reminds me of like the Seahawks Broncos game. Like they were just completely mauling them. And it wasn't even defensively, but Tom Brady couldn't do a single thing either.
Exactly.
And then
trust me, when I was watching this as someone who has watched Tom Brady beat up my team for 20 years, I mean, you can't get around it. You can't deny it. Like Tom Brady was our daddy. That is fact.
It's not Matt Ryan's fault. Matt Ryan did nothing wrong.
Exactly.
Everyone who hates Matt Ryan for that Super Bowl, he did nothing wrong. I'm pretty sure he has like one of the top 5 or top 10 highest QBRs in Super Bowl history. Doesn't matter. Like 116 doesn't matter. What did he do in the last quarter? It's like I don't know, man. I was watching it. I don't know. He tried.
And I've watched them do it for so many years. I've watched they run. They never do anything different. It's always dump offs to the running back and little out routes to Edelman.
Gets stupid catches.
And every once in a while they'll go up the seam to Gronk, which is pretty difficult to defend.
Works. It always works.
But it's always the same.
There's a certain play I watched. So Tevin Coleman gets hurt in the Super Bowl. Tevin Coleman gets a concussion in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So which already it hurts the team because Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman, they were the two-headed, like Devonta Freeman more this power back kind of like get you there, and Tevin Coleman was shifty. So like switched up. He gets hurt. It's like all right, you know what type of runs we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I don't remember who got hurt. I don't remember if it was a tackle or guard. One of our linemen get hurt, man. This is when I knew. Because this man, I think last name was Compton. I couldn't make that up. Whoever came in never played a single down this year, it seemed like. Because I watched a lot of the games that year. That was a fun year to watch Atlanta. I watched every game. And he had to block Jamie Collins.
In his prime.
Yeah, on the Patriots.
Yeah,
so you had to block Jamie Collins, and it was the strip sack. And I'm like, it's not like I'm not mad at this dude who's not. Yeah. You're not built to block Jamie Collins. You're a back like in the Super Bowl too. Like the pressure, he must have been like, and Jamie Collins is like, I'm gonna smoke you, kid.
Yeah.
So it just gets destroyed. There's a strip sack. It was like in the third. It was like part of the part of the demise. I think it was in the third quarter that happened. That stupid the missed pick. The guy has a pick in his hands, bounces off his hands. The Julian Edelman double catch. How do you let go of the ball and re-catch it? It's fake. I don't know. It's not fake, but it's so real. It's fake, man.
That's probably my biggest problem with Tom Brady when he's on the Patriots is how many times, you get bailed out and you watch it happen, and then immediately after he gets bailed out, that's when he throws the game-winning touchdown or something like that. Like it seems to happen to like everybody, like Patrick Mahomes. Against the Falcons. Against the Falcons, he threw it right to who was it? Your rookie corner, right?
Probably Oliver or whatever.
Or what?
Whoever it was, whoever may be.
He had it in his hands, brought it to the ground as soon as he hit the ground. Boop, Butterfingers.
Man, it's just so I'm telling you, man. And since the Super Bowl, the Falcons have just been on this weird like they can't catch a break. The Dallas game. the Dallas game, like just watching that whole game, watching like I'm there, like I'm picturing myself on the hand squad, and I'm picturing myself as the tight end just watching the ball over it. He's like, I can't touch it. I don't want it. I don't know what he's waiting for. He's waiting for like an illegal touching. I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know where the special teams coach is. Just yell him to jump on the ball. Like someone just tell him to jump on the ball.
It's amazing to me that an entire team who's practiced for their entire lives how to play special teams didn't remember that you can touch the ball. It's the kicking team that can't touch it for 10 yards.
They could have brought probably modified players on there, and I bet you one of them would have a chance on jumping on that ball. You bring in JV 100%. Varsity,
Absolutely.
no doubt. It's like what happened? Like they just were something. It's important that they have a new coach and a new staff because I think they just needed it. Something in their brains were just off. The Super Bowl knocked them weird, and like in that they never recovered.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, you had the Bills in the '90s, which I wasn't alive for, so I never got to see it.
You still feel it though.
But they were so good. They went to 4 straight Super Bowls, lost all of them, and the one that hurts the most for like my parents who lived through it was the first one because they could have won it. And they just missed a kick.
The wide right is the worst one. And
I
I don't want to put this man in the dirt. I don't know what Scott Norwood's doing right now. I have put you in the dirt in high school. When my friend Steve would get me mad, I would just say wide right because.
Oh man, go right for the low blow.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But once he was just getting me, he was chirping too much. I'm like, all right, like. But then now I can't say anything because Atlanta just made it worse. Like wide right is not as bad. Everyone can. The amount of stress on one kick is fine. Whatever. Mm-hmm. The amount of stress on a team dropping 25 points in a quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, you get those people that come in and it's more pressure than like anybody could ever realize. No. And then they get death threats after.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's serious. Like, you you take any fan of any kind of team and I know for me it directly affects my like mood for the week after if they win or they lose, like I'll mull about it.
Do you think it matters how it happens, or would you understand like a hard loss if it was like you and the Packers, the Bills and the Packers do like a 40 point game and like they lose to a field goal at the end, like would you be mad or would you just be like maybe just circumstances?
It's definitely circumstantial, I would say, because that kind of thing, it would be like, okay, is it a 40-40 game where it was just straight back and forth, or was it a 40-40 point game because somebody drops an interception?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Or fumble happened.
Yeah,
or
one fumble,
some fumble six.
Ridiculous pass interference got you into field goal range.
I don't want to bring refs into it. The refs are a whole nother topic, a whole nother conversation.
Tom Brady's best friend.
Tom Brady. After the tuck roll, no Justin, man. I don't know. That's sketchy to me.
Man.
But Gostkowski deserves his credit. Or, no, Vinatieri deserves his credit because he didn't kick that stupid field goal.
And it's weird now because you'll never know, like, in that weird period, you'll never know when you're actually good and when you're just still bad. And that level of mediocrity is what is so miserable because you get your hopes up and then they crush your hopes. And then you get your hopes up again.
Yeah. I'm on my expectations of the Falcons are very low right now. I'm expecting. I mean, I say it every year, man. They could win. I think they go to the playoffs this year. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's always. I feel like if you don't have potential in your team, if you don't see a little bit, like, because like you know what I mean, like you like every year with the Bills, like when I remember Ryan Fitzpatrick in high school, and Ryan Fitzpatrick was just eating. He was just eating, and I'm like. I didn't understand football enough in high school. Like, you know what I mean? Like you kind of like are like, oh, it's fun to watch. Like I know the rules, but. And I'm just like, and it was always like he shaved his beard and started losing. Yeah. Which I don't know. Like I know, everyone knows Ryan Tannehill's playing. He went to Harvard. He's not a stupid dude. I think he does the 4-game play great just to keep these careers and make sure he doesn't have brain damage.
Yeah, Fitzmagic, I hated him.
Yeah.
Shortly after he left the Bills because he would always give me hope against the Patriots, and then he would get down there and we'd be down by like 4 or 3 or 7, and he would always like give you hope, and then it would turn into Fitztragic really, really quickly.
Fitztragic.
And that's how a lot of games ended for him. But now being like this far removed, he was a great person. Yeah. He wasn't even that bad of a quarterback. No. Like there have been many quarterbacks in Buffalo that have been far
they go
worse.
Through the ringer. Like, Buffalo's like kind of like the Browns for those years where like you just went through the ringer. And the fans liked you, you kind of stayed for a little bit.
I mean, our defense is absolutely garbage.
Yeah.
If you want to blame anything, you blame the defense. Like, if you played with any competent defense,
they had a couple people who always did well, like Kyle Williams.
Yes.
Who was always great.
He's a Buffalo legend.
Darius was there for a minute, right?
Marcel Darius. His departure was slightly less glamorous.
Yeah, but he was even good in his heyday. I think the D line was always good.
Yeah.
Because then they had like outside linebackers that would.
There was 2016 or 15, I think it was. They had, or maybe it was 17. They had Mario Williams.
Yeah.
It was Kyle Williams, Marcel Darius, and then Jerry Hughes.
Which
is probably one of the best trades in the entire history of the NFL, because we gave Indianapolis Kelvin Shepard for Jerry Hughes. Kelvin Shepard is a coach now. He played like 2 years. He was a linebacker, and we got Jerry Hughes. Who's still playing like a pro.
Yeah.
You know, I won't say all pro.
Is he still on the Bills?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is most likely his last year, but
he's older.
He's the longest tenured Bill, and he's been on since like 2014.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's the longest tenured. I guess that makes sense because it was Kyle Williams. He retired.
Yeah. Besides him, he retired. Eric Wood had to retire because of a neck injury. But then McDermott and Bean just cleaned house. Everybody else was like, if you're a Rex Ryan guy, you're out of here.
Yeah. Rex Ryan. The Ryan brothers.
That's also why, like, the owners, Kim and Terry Pagula, that's why, like, that they didn't make a great, like, decision when they hired Sean McDermott. It wasn't them. It was Sean McDermott fell into their laps, and then he brought Brandon Bean, and they're the reason why the Bills are good. Because if you look at the Sabres, which they also own, they are the dumpster fire of the NHL.
And the Buffalo could be right, and they could be right there with them.
Absolutely.
And if they were, they might not be a team in Buffalo right now.
Literally,
there might not be a team in Buffalo right now. That's crazy.
I mean, they're the same people who said, you know what, Rex Ryan, you are a great coach.
I think I like Rex Ryan as a person. I think he's great. I think he's great on the little things on NFL and stuff. There was one little, like, he's good at doing speeches, I think. I think he pumps up people really well.
He's definitely a character.
Whether that means he's a good coach,
it hasn't showed.
It has not shown.
No. No.
Except for maybe, there's Rex, and then what was his brother's name? Buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy Ryan, I think.
Yeah.
Buddy was old DC.
Or maybe it was his dad.
Oh, Buddy was his dad. I know there was two Rex brothers.
Yes, you're right. There's a picture of them riding a tandem bicycle in Buffalo.
Buddy, I think, is their dad. I think you're right with that. Whoever his brother is, whatever his first name is, he was a DC for the Saints for a little bit.
Yes.
I think before the Bounty Gate high key. I don't know how close they were, but I think they were really close.
They were.
But I remember my friend would always hated his brother. Rob. Thank you.
Rob.
Thank you.
Rex and Rob.
Rob. He hated Rob Ryan.
Yeah.
And because he would do this thing where he's like, man, I'm watching the Saints game, and they're just doing this cover zero safety blitz every time. Why are they blitzing the safety? And I'm like, and I could definitely see this man like, well, you got to blitz the safety so they don't expect them coming, and then they're literally they got one speed guy going deep on their slow corners, touchdown. Because the Saints defense sucked for a lot of years. I mean,
who was in charge of the Raiders defense or the Jets defense against? Was that Rob Ryan? I don't think it was.
I think Rex did. I don't think he was DC on the Jets, but
against the Raiders this past year.
Oh,
who was that? Who decided to cover zero on Henry Ruggs, the fastest guy?
That is, I wouldn't be surprised if Rob's influence, because I think he touched on. He
was part of the staff. I felt like.
Yeah, I feel like too. I think he's like a DB coach and telling his corners, he's like, yeah, don't just and telling the safeties, like, it's all right.
Now, what's worse is, like, he got the blame, and rightfully so. You've only got like 5 seconds left. You got no timeouts. The only place this ball is going is the end zone.
Yeah.
But the corner itself bit on a hitch route, and if you're like aware of like the time of 5 seconds left, a hitch route isn't going to do them any good. They needed the touchdown, so the corner should have never bit on the hitch. Itself.
You got to think, like, you could have done punt return, right?
Yeah. And
you could have had 2 guys in the corners streaking, and then you could have 1 guy back there just to play defense. And it's like you could have 3 guys. It's like that's better than what they even try. I don't even know. You can't even say what they tried to do. Because I remember I think the DC got fired that game right after.
Right after.
Right after. And the Raiders were a weird case. Because everyone was like, when's Mariota going to start? And I mean, everyone was like, kind of like, Derek Carr sucks.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that bad.
No, he's not. He's actually a really good quarterback.
He reminds me kind of like Andy Dalton.
Yeah, he's just been surrounded by.
He's just not in a good situation.
Poor talent.
Yeah. Henry Ruggs seems cool. I like Josh Jacobs a lot. I guess he's not cool anymore.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people think Josh and yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. The Raiders are. And the worst part is I love John Gruden too, man. He was always so fun. The Spider 2-Eye Banana was the most hilarious thing.
Yes.
Him just calling Spider 2-Eye Banana, and my friend on Madden found the play, There is a Spider 2-Eye Banana
That's
in Madden.
Amazing.
And it's like an alright, I don't know, like a fullback play. It's some weird.
It's not even a good play.
It's just some really wonky play, but it's like if you run Spider 2-Eye Banana, it's a touchdown every time.
It's gotta be.
It's like a glitch. It's like a cheat code in Madden.
I was really sad when he was like, I'm not going to be doing the Monday Night Footballs anymore, because he was a good announcer. He just not so great of a coach so far.
Yeah, they planned him for the future, right? So I don't remember exactly when
they gave him a 10-year contract.
I know they got him it was 10-year, $100 million, right?
That's a ridiculous contract for a coach, especially one who's done absolutely nothing.
Especially one for a team that's moving to Las Vegas. Especially one that already doesn't even know what they want to do with the team.
Oh my god.
And he hasn't, Chucky. He hasn't done much. And I thought he has one Super Bowl. He can't be mad.
Right.
He did steal one Super Bowl with Tampa Bay.
Just not with the Raiders.
Just not with the team that.
Nowhere close.
No. I think they had one. It was weird because I think they did really well one season. I think it went to playoffs or whatever and lost and they got rid of him. And then the next year he went to Tampa Bay. Won the chip.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm retired. He's
like,
one more
I'm
year.
going out a winner. And then he was like, I guess I'll come back and make $100 million more dollars.
They're like, man, we really need you, Gruden. He's like, why? Just get my brother. I think he's about to get fired from Washington. They're like, no, we need you, John. Put the $100 million in cash right on the table, and he's just like, I love my wife, man. I love my kids. I can't say no to this. I don't care. You can't. There's got to be incentive to it because they're just Albert Hainsworthing him, man. They're just. You remember Albert Hainsworth?
Yes.
Rest in peace. The one clip they always show of him was when he signed that $1 billion deal to Washington, and it was versus the Eagles. And it was when Mike Vick was on the Eagles, and you watch this play. They're right in the end zone. He literally gets pushed to the ground right in the beginning of the play, just lays on the ground for 10 seconds. Kind of looks like he wants to get up, but he's very slow about it. And the play lasts for a long time. Mike Vick's doing his thing, whatever.
Yeah.
Throws a laser touchdown, and he's barely getting up by the time he throws it after 10 seconds of him just running it around the pocket. And it's just man, it sucks to see that because you'd hope that if you had this talent, had these chances and this money, you would try, but who knows, man? Who knows? It probably sucks to play for a team that sucks, even if you're getting paid $1 million.
Yeah.
And you're a DT who doesn't
true.
have that much
It's true.
influence.
You want the glory. That's what it's all about. The goal is always to get that championship. Because in the end, it really doesn't matter if you don't.
Or I don't think the chip. NFL's different where I feel like the chip. It's just I don't care about it as much. Tom Brady has too many, man. I feel like he's taken away so many championships from good players that I'm just it's about their careers now.
Oh yeah, when in terms of appreciating the players themselves, which definitely gets pushed to the side. If you don't know this, wins are not a quarterback stat.
Really?
They're definitely not.
You
saw Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
We'll talk about if Josh Allen's getting up there.
It's not fair to Josh Allen because he's young. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
1 year younger. So this is his year, obviously.
Yeah. That's what people saying.
But you got you saw it in the Super Bowl. He lost his offensive line, and even Patrick Mahomes couldn't save the whole team.
He didn't even play. This might be a hot take, but I like to say this, man. He didn't even play that good in the first Super Bowl either.
No.
The 49ers should have won that game. I remember I was in a class for college because I was still in college when the Super Bowl went on, and I was in a sports writing class, and it was write the game. It was once you watch Super Bowl and then write what was the Super Bowl. And then we had to do it before and after. And before I'm defense is going to eat this Super Bowl. It's a lot of people say it's going to be this offensive. No, it's going to be defense, and it's going to be one defense going to step up.
Yeah.
And literally, as I'm watching the game, the 49ers are winning. They get a Mahomes pick in the third, and I'm they did it. They won. They basically, they just drive down the field, eat time up, and then get another score. And it's what can Mahomes really do? I think they ended up punting that to drive,
Yeah.
and then just Mahomes did Mahomes things.
Yeah, and when you've got Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, like
Yeah, and even I like McCall Hardman too. I think he's just another great wide receiver that's just super fast.
it's one of those things like you get those perfect storms of everything. Like if it was Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Kelce, and then it was like John Gruden at the coach.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, like Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be Patrick Mahomes.
No.
He wouldn't have.
He might not even be playing right now. Alex Smith might be. Yeah. Alex Smith's leg might be okay if John Gruden was the coach.
It's one part Andy Reid, and because he's a genius, and then it's the development that Patrick Mahomes had underneath Andy Reid. It's all of those.
They
things
knew Patrick Mahomes' they knew his potential too, because you know what I mean. They knew it. They let him sit the whole year behind Alex Smith when. There was probably times when they're like, we need something more. Like, and I love Alex Smith. I think he could have been a Super Bowl winning quarterback maybe for that 49ers team a different year, for the Kaepernick year if they let him play. But I don't know. It's a whole different time. But he was a great game manager. He played the game right, and he wasn't going to win you games, but he probably wasn't going to lose you games either.
And that era is over now. Yeah. You see it. All those teams like the Giants that are like have head coaches that come out and say, we want to run and stop the run. Well, it's become irrelevant because passing games are far and ahead of running games.
It does. Derrick Henry ran for 2,000 yards. What'd that show for Tennessee?
Right.
Nothing.
As soon as the Ravens shut it down, it was like, well, that's our entire premise.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Tannehill was like 95% completion percentage over the middle because everyone sucks up to stop Derrick Henry.
And play action, literally linebackers are like, we have to step up, or else Derrick Henry's going to do 20 yards.
When it works, it works. But when it doesn't, then you're kind of like strung out.
Yeah. Man. I think Tennessee, this has got to be Tennessee's year, right?
Well, behind the Bills.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I can't discount the Bills, but
I know they got your man Julio.
I have a lot of faith in Julio. He's not old and decrepit yet.
I also love Julio.
I think he's skill wise. He's like just like athletic and skill wise. He's the best since Calvin, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean he's just the injuries are just terrible because he fights through them.
Every year it seems like he has a hamstring injury.
I feel like I haven't seen like him without an injury designation for like the past 3 years.
No, he's still questionable.
But he's always playing.
Yeah, and he's always playing good too. There was a stat. He was gonna make it. So I think he has the longest streak of 1,300 receiving yard seasons, which is a weird one. 1,300 is a weird number.
Stats are weird because they'll just make up stats like.
But I think 1,300 shows you're a really great wide receiver.
Yes,
anything over 1,000, I feel like then you're like he was really good.
Right.
I think he had 7 seasons in a row. We had 1,300, which
it's
is most all time. And then he would have had it. It was either had 6 or 7 because he would have had it. He would have had it was overtime game. Last game of the season versus the Bucks. I'm like, just throw one to Julio. It goes to overtime, like whatever. He still has a chance. And then Jameis Winston gets up to the plate, and he's like, "Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna create history right here." And then he throws his 30th pick of the season.
Yeah.
Pick 6 to
and then
Deion Jones.
Over.
And then he gets 1284. And he's off by 16 yards.
Yeah, it's those things that just like.
And then why can't you change the stat to most seasons with 1,284?
84 plus yards. It's a real thing. They do that.
I want to make that stat.
They do that.
And then last year he just got hurt a lot, which
I mean, the Falcons losing Julio was a cap situation. People say the cap's not real, but it is.
100% was a cap situation, and the worst part is I think they both kind of liked Atlanta. Like I think Julio liked Atlanta.
It was just time.
He never said anything bad about Atlanta.
Yeah,
and you think he's never said anything, but he especially didn't say anything bad. He was the most controversial superstar, which is why I love Julio.
Yeah,
and he blocked too sometimes. Like he was just a strong dude.
It's hard to find those guys.
No, because I love him, and even I didn't want to say Diggs because Diggs talks a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Every person wants to talk. Quarterbacks and wide receivers love to talk.
Oh yeah.
Devontae Adams loves to talk. Ramsey loves to talk. Stephon Diggs loves to talk. Odell, I don't know if you put him in the elite like that.
It's part of the reason why I love Josh Allen so much is because he's such a mixture of everything, and it's so random. Like he's like this goofball on the practice field, and he's like great with his teammates. But then he's got like this like super hot girlfriend, but she's like totally like California bougie.
Yeah.
And this dude's over here like, I plant pistachio nuts for a living before I played football.
I'll play Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like he's just some dude.
It was kind of like that. And
Yeah.
then as soon as he gets on the field against other teams, he's trash talking the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite like nowhere near Phillip Rivers.
Oh
level,
yeah.
But
Shout
like
out
you
Phillip
can
Rivers.
see it like.
He's chirping. And then there's people like Andrew Luck.
Oh my God.
Which I think
He's
is
like-
the best trash talk.
He was a great person.
He was just a great dude, and I feel like I would kind of be on the same level as Andrew Luck. I'd probably be like, that was a good hit, but like if it was like someone I liked, like if it was someone I talked to, I'd be like, oh, that was a good hit, homie. But I couldn't do it to any random dude.
Oh, I know.
Because I didn't think they would just make fun of me.
Yeah.
But but he was good, you know, he was great.
Yeah.
So once people heard it from him, they're probably like, what, like. All the clips. I always like him. They're like, huh? Like, did you just say thank you? But then he didn't like getting hit as much as he said it.
No,
because
clearly not.
you know what I mean? After you say
Yeah.
thank you so many times, you're like, man, this kind of sucks.
After, a couple years worth of recovery, you're like, maybe it's not worth it.
No. Peyton Manning gets, has neck problem. And
Holding up his giant forehead.
He's like, man, I know you guys are going to get rid of me. Save your, at least get good linemen for this kid.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, who needs line? We're gonna get some after he leaves.
That's how Russell Wilson feels.
We're gonna get Quentin Nelson, one of the greatest guards in the league right now. After he leaves,
top tier.
The linemen don't get enough love. Joe Thomas, first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know why this
Absolutely.
brought up. Zach Martin, another. There's some elite linemen.
It literally is like you could have the fanciest quarterback, you could have the nicest like secondary, but if you don't have good defensive and offensive lines, you're just getting bullied.
You can watch Matthew Stafford's games on the Lions. I think Matthew Stafford's a great quarterback.
I'm so happy for him.
I hope he does great.
I'm so happy for him.
I think the Rams are his. I think they're gonna do great.
I think so too.
McVay's smart. McVay is smart. I think he outsmarted himself in the Super Bowl. I think he thought a little too hard, and then you should have just ran Gurley into the ground.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna be in the league by now, at least run him into the ground when he can play. You know what I mean? At least give him some championships or something. At least give him some yards. They had who'd they bring on? Oh my gosh, who'd they bring on in the playoffs that was literally not signed? Who was just running all over the place?
Oh, it was C.J. Anderson.
C.J. Anderson.
C.J. Anderson.
Literally not on a team. In the playoffs, they just like, we gotta get a new guy.
I call him the human bowling ball.
Yeah, and the worst part is they did great
Yeah.
with C.J. Anderson just running, and I'm like, why did you like? Is it a Todd Gurley thing, or is it a Todd Gurley thing, or is it like a bigger than that? Do they not want to hurt Todd Gurley, or is it they just don't care about him? You know what I mean?
It was clearly not, because they said, all right, well, you've had your use and now you're gone, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know, because even I think after that year, I don't know what happened after that year. Did he stay with the Rams another year, or was he hurt?
I think he stayed, but that was the year that he was like on and off, not very good, and then they tossed him.
When then Atlanta got him, right? Atlanta signed him last year. He had like 10 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was like 5 in the first 2 games. It was like something crazy, and then kind of went off. But he didn't have a bad year. It was like 800 yards and like 9 touchdowns, we'll say. And then it's like, what? Like, I know maybe Atlanta doesn't want to re-sign him. That's okay with me. You know, I mean, whatever the case is. But no team wants to re-sign him. What'd you say?
I said you got the legendary Mike Davis. Now.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna eat this year in fantasy.
He's backup of the year.
It's so great when all these backups get so many contracts after they go down. Madison, Latavius Murray, he's not on a team anymore.
No, he got dropped.
Yeah, literally the Saints were like, "Can you take less money?" And he's like, and then they're like, fine with that.
Yeah,
bye. We'll give you even less money, and then we'll take. And then they were looking at Desmond Trufant.
Oh yeah,
I like Desmond Trufant a lot, but
yeah, there are definitely like some like players like when you're bad for so long, you see players come and go, and you like gravitate towards them, and there's some that just come and then they stink it up, or like they leave on bad terms. Like Stephon Gilmore was terrible for us, terrible, absolutely awful. And then he said, peace out, I hate you guys, and then went to the Patriots and won a Super Bowl, and now he's like
that dude.
He's one of those like most hated people because we have a corner in Tre'Davious White who is a different kind of corner, but is also very good.
Yeah, and Gilmore just happened to choose to get good after he left, which was like not on purpose, but
he was a better man coverage corner, but we always ran zone.
Yeah,
so it didn't fit in the system. He fit in their system, and now he's played great, but.
I mean, like you said, now you got Tre'Davious White, who had a breakout year,
and he's also a character. So you love to see it.
You need your defense. I think needs characters more than your offense.
Yeah,
I think both sides needs those people that are kind of like these energy people. The big one I'm thinking of right now is the old school guy, John Randall.
Oh yeah.
John Randall was like a small dude. He wasn't the biggest DT, but the energy he had about him, he was just a freak. He was just a crazy dude. I think there was one story of him like naming the cousins' names of one lineman, some like extra extra stuff, and just
to get under his skin.
Just to get under their skin, because he was just so like crazy like that. And anytime they do like the family name stuff, I'm like, yo, you're a freak. You're sick, because you don't know how people play with their family.
Right.
You know what I mean? You name little cousin Natasha, and or little cousin, like, I don't even know anyone, like Danielle, and it's like game over.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah, no, like, you're like, what are you doing? And John Reynolds a weird dude, so you're like, what are you doing with my, you know what I mean? How do you know that name?
Yeah, maybe they're planning a wedding. They're like, oh, I forgot about that cousin.
Yeah. I remember I trash talk is such a big thing. I do with my friends a lot, but I'll tell a little story. So I don't trash talk, but I like to chirp. I like to make jokes that are like funny to me, and if they're not funny to me, maybe other people don't think they're funny. But I was in a I was in a flag football like thing in college, like with a couple of my friends freshman year. And I remember I would just always chirp, like I'd always be like, blah, blah, I didn't get the first down, like all this, like just to the refs and stuff, like try to joke with them. They did not find me funny, man. I remember I was literally told, I was like, there's no way they got the first down, like, are you kidding? And the guy came up to me, he's like, if you talk like that again, like if you keep talking, like you're gonna get cut, like you're not gonna be playing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like I thought I was having a good time. Yeah. Now I didn't even understand my energy, like I didn't understand what I was putting out there.
Right.
And they were just not having it, and I chirped a little bit, like, just quietly to myself. Like, I just made jokes to myself.
I only played that 1 year in 10th grade, and I was not big enough to say anything to anybody.
Yeah.
I was, like, 150 pounds, skinniest thing. Like, I wanted to be a receiver because that's when I'd started getting into football, and I was like, those guys are cool. Like, I love Stevie Johnson. He always had the best touchdown celebrations.
Stevie Johnson was dope.
And then I ended up being a far better corner because I didn't have hands.
Yeah, that's why they're playing the stupid Madden quote is, that's why they're playing defense.
Yeah.
I can't catch. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
It's like, is that really why they're playing defense? But maybe it is. Maybe that's some of the thing.
The only problem is that I was far better in coverage because I was much smaller. Then I wasn't run stopping because I wasn't very big.
Yeah.
And in high school, you don't pass a lot.
No, yeah, they do not. Man.
So it's like my first game, I had a couple of pass breakups. I had like one tackle on a dude that got past a couple zones, and then every other play was, hey Kyle, you want to go tackle that 250-pound guy behind that 300-pound guy?
While you get past this 160-pound guy, the first wide receiver.
Right.
So
I just got bullied.
Yeah, no, I've talked a little chunk about football, my football career. I always had fun playing football. I love the people on the team, but man, I was small too. As I've gotten older, I've gained weight. I've put on, I think, that necessary weight. But I was like 155, 160 in high school, and that was like senior year. So I couldn't. First off, I couldn't lift weights. I wasn't strong. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't me. I wasn't that dude. As I've gotten older, I'm like, all right, it's important.
We've like reached the point where our bodies would be ready for 10th grade football, but we're not in 10th grade.
Oh my God, I'm so happy
It would be against collegiate football players who are about to go into the NFL, and we would still get absolutely destroyed.
I'm so happy you said this because I could destroy some high school football, and I think about this sometimes, man. You put me out there at running back, I could throw some shoulders in the. I could take out some people. Is there people that are definitely still bigger and stronger than me in high school right now? 100%. I'm not gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
But there's some people that are definitely smaller than me that I can take out. I gotta run over some kids.
I would love to be the mascot in those mascot versus the little kids games where they just absolutely destroy their confidence.
The Colts one's the worst, man. He just destroys kids, man, for no reason. They
don't stand a chance.
He jumped over the line. I remember I saw the click jump over the line on him, halamalu'd him.
Yeah.
I don't think they even called hike yet. Like, it's just some freaks. That's so funny. Because this leads into another topic. I was talking to my friend, and I was like thinking about it. I'm like, you get me, because someone said it too. I actually watched a whole different podcast on TikTok, and someone made this question. And I thought about it before I heard the question, but now I'm thinking about it after. It was like, could you lead a Little League team to a championship right now, like the Little League World Series? Could you lead it you on a team with other
like
Little
as
League?
A player?
Yeah, you're like one of the players. And the guy said something funny. I wish I knew the clip. I'm sorry. I don't know if you'll ever hear this, but if it ever gets I don't even know the name of the podcast, the people that were on it. It was just all random. But he said like the first guy would just beam him. I'd pitch and I'd beam the first kid. And
Show
then
me
and then they'd be
business.
like a little scared after that, so I think I could win off that. And I was like, that's awesome. I don't think I have the heart to do that, but I don't think I'd pitch either. I feel like I'd let the little kid's got arms.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, you know.
But I think I could hit a few dingers, you know what I mean? I think I could I'll lean into a pitch. I don't care.
I was never good at baseball.
I sucked at baseball
Never.
too.
I stopped when I was young after I got hit in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any story behind there? Just
That's just it was JJ Seacomb's little brother. Shane Seacombe.
Shane. He was in my grade. So.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. So
well, there you go.
I knew Shane.
Maybe he'll hear this. He was. I mean, we were just tossing, like, it was practice before the game. We're just tossing the ball up, and he threw like a fly ball, and I just lost it in the sun.
Yeah.
Like my glove was covering the sun, and it just managed to go over
You
the
did
top of my
you
glove.
did like the
it just
the cinema thing where you do the fake.
Yeah.
Where is it?
and then it just skyballed over my glove, straight into my nose, like right right in between my eyebrows. And we had to get a paramedic. Like, I didn't break my nose, but it, like, I had my glasses on at the time. So it just cut my nose. So like my nose was bleeding on the inside and on the outside.
Yeah, and you're probably going through it. You're like, what just happened? Like,
you know, we're like 7. Like, a little Shane's running over to me, and he's oh, I'm so sorry, and I was like, it's fine, man. Like, I like saw him in like freshman year of high school. One time in the hall, and he's like, man, I'm still so sorry.
That's so funny. And you're like, man, I kind of forgot about that until you just said it. No, that this is. I'm gonna keep bringing this topic up because it always is something that I just talk about a little bit. But there's like these random memories that like you'll be and like have a reaction, whatever, something will happen with someone, and you won't remember it. But but to the other person, it was like a big thing.
Exactly.
Which is really what just happened there, where it's like he still remembered it. Like, man, he still felt some sort of guilt.
Right.
Like that he did that, which obviously wasn't his fault. You just like it was no one's fault. He just missed the ball. He just lost the ball. I remember when I was playing Little League. I was so bad at Little League, man. I finished all of Little League. Never got good. I think there was one year they held me in minors, like an extra year. Mm-hmm. I ate the extra year. Yeah, like I was older, so I like I did one good year. It was one minor. I did it for 2 years, and I was the last one. I was like, man, I got a inside the park. I never hit a home run in Little League. Got an inside the park home run.
Yeah,
count that as my home run.
That I would.
And then majors, I was trash again. So. But I lasted all year. But when I was really young, there was like a playground near a baseball field we went to. So it was after a game. We were playing in the playground. This is when I learned the saying, don't go backwards up the slide.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was the one who went backwards up the slide.
That seems like a poor idea.
You know, you don't think it was on the spinny slide, so I couldn't see
right.
Like, the top.
So you're just...
I was just like, oh, like this is fun. Like this is what cool people do. We all have our cleats on still. Like we're all literally just finished the game. And I was going up, and a kid didn't know, and they went down, and they kicked me in the face. They didn't get my eye or anything bad,
right?
But they gave me a black eye, so I just kind of like got kicked in the face with cleat when I was going up the slide, and I'm just like, ah! I remember like the ending of it, like I just remember me getting kicked, and then I don't like knock out, but just my memory goes black after that. And then I just remember I had a black eye the next day, and we were just like, I just kept icing it. I was like, you got icy, you can't have black eye. Like, I think school was starting soon. I think it was like the end. It was like something was happening where I shouldn't have a black eye. And my mom was freaking out. She's like, you got icy, you gotta get down. You cannot have a black eye. And I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to run up backwards. I never ran up a slide backwards.
You're going through experimental surgery, but you're not going into picture day with that black eye.
No, yeah, and literally my eyes are just both shut. I have a double black eye somehow now. It got worse. It's spreading.
You just look like a bad reaction to a bee sting.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I got kicked right in the face.
That's rough.
And that was honestly that's one of the few memories I remember from Little League. So you can tell for the rest of my career when.
And then what's even better was like we're still. My sister's best friends with her daughter, but the coach of this baseball team, the next game was like the little league like playoff game, or it was like towards the end of the season. It was like if we win this game, we get to play another game. And so I had just been hit in the face. I had just come back from like I probably sat out a game or two, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with baseball. Yeah. And we were in the last inning, and we lost, and I'm in the outfield celebrating because we had lost and I didn't have to play baseball anymore.
You're an animal. You're a fun animal.
She'd give me the death stare.
That's so funny. Were the kids like crying? Like were people?
No,
really, oh,
but it was just
okay. You were
was
young
just,
enough to where it was like kind
right,
of just
right.
yeah. Okay.
I was like 7, but I was like excessively
Yeah,
celebrating.
it was, like, too
in
much.
the outfield, like I was on the winning team.
The coach was just sitting there like,
Yeah.
what? Just did he throw? He's sitting there like, this was the kid who got smacked in the face. And now he's celebrating we lost.
Yeah.
That's
They
so
just
funny.
knocked a few gears loose.
Yeah, no, and then you were like, man, I don't like this anymore. But I was never good at the hand-eye coordination with the speed. I could never grip it. I was never good at baseball either. Even wiffle ball is hard for me, man.
Yeah.
But bowling though.
Yes,
Bowling I definitely much easier sport than baseball, I'd say. In the smaller sense of it. Much more strong mentally.
Yeah.
But much more physically. It's not as
demanding. Yeah, right. Yeah, we've had a lot of those conversations lately about if it's a sport or not with some people that we know, including Matt Bott.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, he didn't really pitch into this conversation. We had just brought it up to him, but like me and Jesse and like Jake, who he's living with now, we were talking about it on the way to a movie, and we were like discussing like which one, because Jake also had bowled before. He doesn't anymore, but he did, and I was like, I guess if you like, it's really hard to define a sport, but if you had to like put it somewhere, I would say like if it's a spectrum, we could definitely like put it at the lower end, but it's still technically by all accounts a sport.
This is This is what I'd want the camera on. Like, this is where I'd want the camera, because I'd stare right at the camera. I'd point at it. I'd let the world know what my take is, because bowling is a sport, man.
It's true.
It's 100% a sport. The amount of, I don't care what physically demands it is, man. Golf is a sport.
Yeah.
Everyone accepts golf's a sport. Whether it's one person against themselves, technically.
Right.
Still a sport. Bowling's kind of the same thing. It's one person against themselves, but they are, you know what I mean?
You're still competing.
Yeah. But there's so much to it. You don't know bowling.
Right.
You don't know the sport until you're in it. And you could say it with fighting, you could say it with basketball, whatever. If you're not competitively playing these things, you don't know the sport.
Right.
Bowling is hard.
Yeah.
You know, whether a million people or whatever, you know, whether a trillion people have a 300 game or not, that doesn't mean anything.
I know.
You know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything, because a 300 game doesn't matter. That's not what makes bowling hard. It's
the consistency.
It's literally consistently bowling the same shot.
Yeah.
On the same pattern.
Yeah.
On the same day, every single year.
And it's one of the hardest things to do.
And it's so hard, and you don't understand until because have you ever bowled like in a league, or you mess around with like the sport patterns a lot, or
not often, but I have on some of those patterns, and my game is not set up for those kinds of shots. I don't have the ball control that some people do.
Oh my gosh.
And let's talk like, you know, like certain sports like soccer and football, like you have to do a certain thing a certain way very well to play at that high level. But like with bowling, you can do a certain number of things a certain number of ways. Like if I can't even describe c-nice's approach. Audio like verbally, because you take like 15 steps. You're supposed to take like 4 or 5, and you take 15 of these little steps, and the ball travels from like your gut to the sky. And then you just like have this awkward little like waddle, and it just comes out perfect.
And the worst part is I don't look up the lane. I look down.
It's crazy.
I look down.
It's the wildest thing.
It's like a feeling thing for me. Because I can know how I don't look at where I throw it, man. I literally look like I don't want to go over the lane, basically. Because I tried looking up once, and I'm like, man, I can't do it. I can't look to where I'm throwing it. I just have to literally look. I look before, and I stare at it before, and then right before I throw it, I look down.
Are you throwing 20?
And I try to get it there. And
you throwing 25 miles per hour now with those big guns?
I don't even know, man. I don't even want to go. I know if I go, I want to get a new ball, because I know my balls are dead. I've had the same bowling balls since high school.
Absolutely, me too.
And I should get a new one. I want to go bowling. I want to get like a team or something. I want to get something, man. I want to get myself bowling more.
Yeah.
But I gotta figure out just like, you know what I mean, what's it called? Not a tournament, but a league.
Yeah,
that's the word I was looking for. I probably want to do a league. I was talking to one of my friends, Andre, actually Malik's cousin, Andre.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm friends with Andre, and I was talking to him, and he wants to do one because he used to bowl a little bit.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to get more into that. but I haven't gone bowling, so I don't know if I'm throwing that thing 90. You know what I mean?
I went, yeah. I mean, since I was in school all the time during college, and I was off in Rhode Island, I didn't have the option to bowl. So I had just gotten into my dad's league last year. So now that was like the first time that I've been bowling on a regular basis again. It actually starts on Monday now.
Did you bowl? Did you do well last year?
I actually did all right. I mean, it's down in country, so like the lanes are, they're not the hardest to bowl on. For whatever reason, I struggle on like sportsman's lanes, but they're no different. Like the size, or I just struggle more over there.
You know what? Like I said, I bowled at Boulevard forever. Like that was my home lane.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it was maybe just at the time like it was cheaper. Like when I first started when I was a kid, or even like I think my brother. I got a couple brothers. They bowled at Boulevard, so I always bowled at Boulevard. And everyone always like when I got older and started talking to people more, they're like, oh, the 10-pin, the Boulevard 10-pin. And I was like, I never really. I think that's just a normal. I think it's just a normal.
It's just
But like you just hear these stories and you just feel stuff different. So I could definitely understand you just saying like sportsmen didn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
Because town never felt right to me.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel great at either.
Yeah, I didn't like town at all. They just nothing. There's nothing. So.
And I loved being on the bowling team. Like that was a great time. There was like that one year where we were all perfectly in sync. Like the JV and the varsity was like the perfect blend, and it was like one big team. And every other year was like. You had this pod of JV and the pod of varsity that was like, I don't talk to this person or I don't talk to this person. And I felt like I was that person like on the team who was like, because, you know, like we had guys like Billy and little Brandon Wolf were always like going at each other. And I was like,
I love them. I love them both, man. I think they were just both like, they were just both strong opinionated people. And I think they were both good in their rights. I think. Obviously, Brandon could chuck that thing, man. Yeah. Brandon was a very good bowler, but Billy was great too. Honestly, our whole team was just did really well.
I know, and I miss that kind of. It's weird because it's bowling, but when you're around such high level like competitors,
that is. We were near the top. Like I don't want to. I'm not. You know, we're not trying to brag or anything.
But we were.
But we were literally the best team in the league. Like, or second. Like it was one or two. And our JV was so good that they competed with varsity almost every year. I remember there would be times when JV would beat varsity in a match, like just by points wise. Yeah. And it was just like, man, we just had domination and we were just good and we had fun. Yeah. And we had fun. And that was the best part. All of us would be joking. Like, you know what I mean? When you were young and a little nervous, you know, and you'd go up to varsity, you'd be like, oh, I don't know. But then, you know, you get comfortable. I know my senior year, I mean, I had to be varsity, but...
And you felt pressure, like
oh that's. My God.
I was never even like permanently on varsity. Yeah. Even my senior year, I was just the bubble between because we still had those guys were just so good.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that because my 11th grade when you were, I think I very rarely, like I think I one or two times got called up, but I was JV king. Like I ate on JV. Yeah. I remember that was my thing. Like. And it was just like once I got to varsity, it just completely went out the window.
It just happens like that.
All a mental thing.
It is mental. Like...
and bowling's so much more mental. Bowling is like being a kicker in football.
Oh yeah.
It's like it really is you just talking to yourself and being like I got this. Yeah. People can coach you. People can tell you how to step, how to run. You know what I mean? But it really is you just throwing that ball.
Yeah, and it's even like the smaller things, like those one-pin spares, like that should be like the easiest thing for you to do. And then you just get up there, there's pressure, you start thinking about it, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong that you weren't thinking about, and you miss. And then you're
4-pin or a 5. It's like something easy
and then you're down on yourself, and then the next shot you mess up, and it just like it can avalanche very quickly.
I remember, I don't know how you, I can't remember because there's only like a few people that I really remember. And then after this, we'll probably start wrapping it up because this is going to be the longest podcast, probably. Because we've just been eating. It's just been a good, honestly, a lot of good talks.
We didn't even get to a lot of things.
I barely got to half my topics that I have even written down. But I love how this turned out. But the last thing I'll bring up is how people, how you react to, like something like that. I remember, like again, my friend Kyle Thomas, he would shut down. Like if he really was bowling bad, he missed like a couple spares, he'd shut down and like you couldn't get to him. Like I would try to, but you know what I mean. But if I got really bad, I would shut down too. And I remember one time, I don't know if it was sectionals, I don't know what it was. It was later, and I was just really down bad. I was just really down on myself. I remember Peter came over, and I don't know if he said anything or did something, but. Peter just did like something small to help me, and it did help me. I wish I remembered what it was. Like I don't know if he just said something or whatever, but he just sat next to me, And I was just like, man, I didn't need that in that moment.
I never knew if it like resonated with people, but like being part of the team, like being someone who was like just a bubble guy, never really like contributed like either way. I wasn't like the guy on either squad, but I was like, well, I see how these people get mad and shut down, or they'll, I'll go over to them and I'll be like, well, if I can help this person get back on their feet, or just be that guy, it felt like I was doing more than what I was doing on the lanes.
And that's the great thing about a sport. It's like everyone, you know what I mean, as you play, kind of where you're at, like where you're sitting. I remember, you know what I mean, you figure it out by like the middle of the season, like where they're gonna do with you. So being able to understand your role and to help even more, like I would just do it more as like that's my friend, you know what I mean. I wouldn't even help them with even think about bowling in the aspect. I'm just like, just feel better, man. Like it's all right. Like come on. It's like game 2, like you gotta lose another game or something. But it's definitely important to have that type of, and that's just being a good team too. That's just feeling you're on a team and feeling like you have people you trust. Yeah. To be able to go to them and be like, hey man, it's all right, like whatever, it's bowling. And, like, it's a sport. It's football, it's basketball, whatever. It's bowling, but it hurts. Bowling hurts the worst.
You take pride.
Bowling hurts the worst because it's literally on you. Yeah. And you can't blame anyone if you miss a 5 pin. You're like, man, really I just suck. Like, I just suck right now. 10 pins are like 50-50. Sometimes I'm like, I should have got that. And sometimes I'm like, it's a 10 pin. It's hard.
They are the hardest pin to hit by itself.
Oh, yeah. But if you're right-handed, of course.
Right. And it's the 7 pin if you're left-handed, which they're the corner pins for anyone. Yep, wondering.
The numbers you can figure them out. I'm not gonna run them all down right now because I don't got the heart to do it. Yeah. but 1's in the front, 10's in the back right corner, 7's in the back left. Yeah. You could figure out the ordering after that.
Yeah. Math quiz.
Oh my gosh. All right. The great bowling is just the sport is so like not talked about how important it is. It's like kind of like a do sports if you like it, do music, blah blah blah. But I feel like something, whether it is a sport, whether it is music. You need to do this group when you're younger. You need to do some type of activity to learn camaraderie, learn how to interact with people that you may not like, hang out with. I wasn't the best at, I went to bowling, but I didn't really talk to people. Yeah. I'm a shy person, man. Man, even if I'm doing the stupid podcast, like I am at heart a shy person. It takes a second to get to know me. So I remember I wouldn't really talk to too many people I bowled with at Boulevard. Yeah. But there were like people from our school that I should have.
It's great socializing. I mean, especially when you're little, you don't have any like expectations. You're just going up there, you're throwing a ball, and it's hard to like not acknowledge your teammates when they do. They get up there and you give them a high five or whatever. Especially when we did travel league when we were getting older. And
travel league was a lot of fun. But I wish I talked more, man. I was always just a little shy, and I would sometimes give random people high fives, but it would often be. The person would have to give me a high five first, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it is kind of like that, though.
You know what I mean? I'd be like, "You have to reach out first. I'm not the one to initiate."
Yeah.
But I still, oh man, I love bowling. I miss it. I miss that. You know what you're saying? I think you said it too, where you just kind of miss like the competitiveness and like the camaraderie of like the boys and stuff.
It definitely makes you like look forward to it more.
Yeah. So I am happy that you actually are doing a league with your dad, and you're chefing it up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
You running the league yet, or
no? My average was okay. It was like 215.
Okay,
so,
okay. I wasn't know. I don't know what I was expecting when you said okay, but 215 is it's solid.
It is solid.
You say okay, but we know like like that's solid.
It's like. It's kind of funny because like we were blessed to like be on that team in Mahonison when we were so good, but at the same time it was like if you had been on any other school's roster, you probably would have been their star. Your star.
It was like, do you want to be the trash bag on the best team, or do you want to be the best one on the Cleveland Browns?
Right.
And it was like and like we didn't, you know what I mean? We made the team late technically. Like I was like, oh man. I remember in 7th grade, 8th grade, I'm like, I'm a good bowler. Like, you know what I mean? You have this confidence. You hit 8th grade, you're like, yeah, I'm trying for team 8th grade. You know what I mean? I might make the team. No one ever makes team in 8th grade. I think Peter made the team in 8th grade. But
Peter some of the newer ones, yeah.
Peter was elite, though.
Yeah, he's so good.
Peter was so good. I want to get him in the bowling more. I'm telling him, man, you got to bowl. I tell him, like, we got to go bowling. Yeah. And then I literally do the same thing where I just don't text
You don't text him.
And it's not like I don't want to. I just don't do it. I'm, like, nervous. I don't know if it's, like, still me being shy. Like, I don't know what it is, but I got to get over that hump.
And people like Steve who are good at everything.
Oh my gosh, Steve. And I've just been talking to Steve. Did you see he won?
Yes.
That's so dope.
His pogo stick, yeah.
He won the best trick, I think.
I'm very happy for him.
It was on ESPN.
Yeah.
It was on ESPN.
Was it? I didn't see that.
I think it was on the ESPN Instagram.
That's amazing.
Which I'm assuming they had to put it on real real ESPN. So that's so dope, man. I've my relationship with Steve, like everyone. I feel like my relationship with anybody has gotten so much better after high school, but my relationship with Steve's gotten so much better. I think he mellowed out a little bit, and I think I also mellowed out because I was kind of like
yeah.
I was kind of like scary, like if you know what I mean. You remember me on the team. I was kind of if you knew me, I was kind of a character, but I'm also a quiet, shy person. It's like that.
You were a good person though.
Yeah, I tried, but I think me and Steve just didn't have the best relationship in high school for whatever reason, and then after high school, it just blossomed.
Yeah, I mean, there's just dumb high school drama. Like after you get out, you're like, why?
Yeah, you're like, why did I even feel like this?
I don't even.
And then
care
you get older and you live 2 years and you're like, man,
yeah,
I was just not that right. I was just a dummy in high school, and then you're like, but that's just life. Everyone was a dummy in high school.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna chop it up right there. Thank you for coming on, being the first person where you made it yourself to come on, and the first person where I'm not like the closest of closest friends, but we have a great relationship. Now,
yeah,
I think.
I don't know. I'm glad that we did it.
Yeah, no, me too.
I mean, we didn't even cover like half the things we could have talked about.
Oh my gosh, but it's just how easy just topics flow, and then you just kind of forget. Do you got any? This is the end of it.
The c-niice special.
Yeah, I usually ask people, whoever listens to the end. You know, what I mean, I usually ask, how you feeling? If you want to say anything, got any energy you want to get out, any feelings you want to get out to the world.
Well, just 2021 NFL MVP Josh Allen.
Okay.
You heard it here first. It's on record. It's not just from me. It's from a lot of people. But
yep. This episode's coming. This episode's obviously recorded before it's coming out, but this one will probably come out this Saturday right before football.
Yes.
So
we're actually going to that game. So
really, are you excited?
The first game, yeah, we're pretty excited. But I would just say it's just enjoy your life.
Yeah.
It's no matter like what you're doing. Is like you were brave enough to start your own podcast, and now I think everyone that's participated or is going to listen to it is going to enjoy themselves.
Oh my gosh, everyone who after the end, everyone was always like, it's so much fun, and I didn't even notice how long it was going.
Yeah, I'm glad that we did it.
Me too. All right.